Welcome to the Sunday morning meditation service. The daily word for today is, I reflect the brilliant light of God. If ever I doubt the presence of God, I need only behold the world around me. The light of God is being reflected in the kind words and acts of people, in the beauty and magnificence of nature, and in life's grand rhythms and minuscule movements. I too reflect the brilliance of God. My ideas, dreams, and all I do to make my mark on the world are just some of the ways the divine expresses uniquely as me. Living from my divinity, I bring more of God's light into the world. So we're going to start the service with the bowls. Each bowl begins as a molten mixture of the special 7 sacred metals. It takes 3 to 4 people to hammer each bowl. One holds the hot metal with blacksmith tongs, while 2 or 3 others alternate hammering and chanting, infusing the bowl with healing intentions, even as it's being created. And they are toned to the 7 chakras of our body. So just relax and let go.
At last Sunday's service, we focused in on intuition, which is the source of wisdom that allows us to transcend the confusions of world living. This journey is referred to in the 91st Psalm as the journey to the secret place of the Most High. And that secret place of the Most High is the goal of all spiritual practice. Eckhart Tolle, last week we used this quote, Eckhart Tolle spoke to this in this way. From his book, Stillness Speaks, on in page 13. In you, as in each human being, there is a dimension of consciousness far deeper than thought. It is the very essence of who you are. We may call it presence, awareness, the unconditioned consciousness. In the ancient teachings, it is the Christ within, or your Buddha nature. As most of you already know, this is an inner journey, a solitary journey. And that is the hard part for us, especially in this Western culture, where we are raised by the limited awareness of the world. So we must somehow or other gather the courage to enter into this spiritual practice, which is meditation. Because we have this ongoing fear of being alone. And this plays out in so many ways, and anyone who's marginally awake in the process of living knows that most people in this culture seek a crowded, limited high. At Starbucks. But I'm talking about a high that actually opens the awareness to another way of experiencing life, a vision of life that is not understood or received by those that do not take this journey to this secret place of the Most High. Let us consider the revelation of this as it comes to us from a couple of thousand years ago in the Gospel of Thomas. Can we take a look at this? You can read this in saying 105 in the Gospel of Thomas. Jesus said, "The kingdom is like a shepherd who had 100 sheep. One of them, the biggest, wandered away. The shepherd left the 99 and searched for that one until it was found. After going to such trouble, the shepherd said to the sheep, 'I love you more than the 99. I love you more than the 99. Okay, now, this message comes to us 2,000 years ago. It comes to us from who we understand to be the master of life and death. And the Gospel of Thomas is more direct in using these particular parables and sayings to indicate to us the necessity for us to transcend human nature. Human nature is what we are born in, raised in, educated in, and that's throughout the world. In the Western culture, that human education gives rise to the belief in the personal intellect as being the only real God, the only real path to salvation. But if you look at this parable, the way it is given here, a shepherd watching 100 sheep is going to be very concerned about the sheep. And he's not going to leave them for any reason whatsoever unless it is of absolute necessity. Because at any time, something can happen to the sheep. A wolf could show up, a lion. So we have this shepherd who is saying that sheep crowd together. And they do. Anybody that knows sheep, they flock together. And it's not likely that one sheep will stray by himself away from that flock. Not for any distance anyway. But here we have it that a sheep strayed away, completely away from that flock. So it doesn't take a lot of insight into the metaphysics to realize it's talking about the crowd of society, or the society that we're born and raised in, just like that sheep is born and raised into that society of sheep consciousness. In fact, often there's some kind of statement or alluding to the idea that these people are sheep. They're simply led by something outside themselves. And so we have this parable that the shepherd leaves the 99 sheep, which is his livelihood, to go find the one sheep who it is stated is the biggest. Well, is it really the biggest physically? Or is it the biggest in consciousness that leaves the flock mentality, that leaves the world thinking mentality? And the shepherd says to that sheep, I love you more than all the rest. And this is not just a single shepherd. This is not even just a separate carpenter's son, Jesus of Nazareth. This is the shepherd of creation. This is the shepherd of life. This is the shepherd that would have us all transcend our collusion with the herd mentality, the flock mentality. You see, that mentality breeds all the error and all the sin underlying man's inhumanity to man. That is all there is to the illusion. It is the underlying error. We're born, raised, educated, and for many people, we live and die in, never ever transcending the confusions that lead us to the limited thinking and deception of the world. And this shepherd is saying, this is the sheep that is beloved. This is the sheep that has left the flock mentality. And the way we do it is through that process of going alone. And going alone is going solitary. It's the one place you can't take anybody with you into this meditation place where you rest and relax the incessant thinking of the world that has been programmed into us, which is a thinking that has only to do with one's personal self-interests and whatever necessities are required to sustain that terrible line of thought. Me first, separate and apart from all others. That's the thinking of the flock. There's I hate to say this because people think, well, he must watch a lot of television. Honestly speaking, I don't. Maybe 4 or 5 hours a night. That's it. But I did catch some of Yellowstone, which is, they did a binge 4th of July special. So I was able to fast forward through the commercials, and Norm and I watched it. It is some of the most amazing stuff that they do. You learn about ranching, cattle herding, and cowboys in general. But the main characters in this series are cruel. Cruel. They even say, the concept being related, and this is certainly not a real state of consciousness that people that do cattle herding and ranching experience or behold. But these guys who are running this big ranch, their concept is that if you go for anything you love in the world, someone is going to try to take it away from you, or some institution is going to try to take it away from you, the same way that, you know, there's always these people trying to take the land of that ranch away and turn it into a ski resort and housing and pleasure playgrounds for whatever. Okay, that's not a bad concept. But what they say periodically throughout, and it's really disconcerting, is they say, because when anyone tries to take what you love away, you must kill them. And to do that, you must be, and this is a line that they use, meaner than evil. It's projecting this really insane concept of an eye for an eye so totally and so powerfully that they are not above murder. But as I say, let me tell you something, they spent money on this. This series is, as far as what they do to relate to you, ranching and cattle herding and cowboys and horse riding and things, it's filled with amazing stuff that you really don't, most people don't have the opportunity to get into. But it is a terrible comment, because it's one of the best, in fact, if not the best or longest running series ever on television. People who are tuning into it are actually have a cult. They buy t-shirts and hats and things that all have to do with Yellowstone, the brand, the whole thing. But it's a commentary. It's a commentary on the terrible thinking of the world, which believes that this adrenaline rush is your high. This is where you get your high. Getting over on, getting even with, getting revenge for. You feel that rightness in yourself. And they propagate that throughout this series. It is cruel, some of the things that they have to do to make this point. So now let me say that I wasn't born a choir boy, you know. I didn't grow up in any church. Maybe that's fortunate for me. But I'll tell you, at an early age, I had some real insight into the church. I remember one occasion, just one out of many, on a number of occasions, me and a friend or a couple of friends would steal a car and drive down to the New Jersey shore, beautiful place, Atlantic City, Seaside Heights, and we would go down there and hang out on the boardwalk or the beach and the beach. And I remember stealing a car with Babyface Reese one Friday, going down to Seaside Heights, getting down there, went to this hamburger stand, He said, oh, no, no, I can't eat meat. It's Friday. I said, we just stole a car. Our goal is to capture a couple of girls down here and, make some sin underneath the boardwalk. So how can you be overly concerned about eating meat on Friday? He said, well, I'm okay with that, but I have to go back and confess that. I said, you're going to confess the rest of it, the rest of this weekend? I'll give you a couple of clues, by the way, about intuition that I had to use in my misbegotten youth. Did you know back then, and maybe automobiles that are of late model, I'm talking about, 1948, 49, 1950 cars, you could jumpstart and steal a car with a piece of chewing gum, tinfoil wrapping. You just wad it up, and you go underneath the dashboard, and the ignition had 3 bolts with wires connected to them. You take the tinfoil, you stick it in there, the car starts. And so I just want you to know that when you attend the 9 a.m. service at Unity, you get your money's worth. You're not only getting a spiritual lesson, I'm teaching you practical things that may help you out. The fact is, we'd go down there on the weekend, Seaside Heights, and we had a friend that worked on Saturday and Sunday in the kitchen down there in a big restaurant. And we'd go down and he would hand us a lobster in the evening to eat out the back door on both days. And then sometimes we had, we could ride back home to Union City with him. And sometimes when push came to shove, we'd have to jack another car. It's sad. It's a sad commentary. And that's why I'm sitting here, because I have so much bad karma to make up. Anyway, it's a good thing that we have unity. That relates to us that the kingdom of God, this higher level of consciousness, this secret place of the Most High, is accessible by everyone. It is available to us. Of course, if the world is too much with us, if we are too much taken over by the thinking of the world in the illusion that it in some way is going to provide for us the happiness, the peace that we are seeking in life. You've heard me say it, and all you have to do is read the newspapers or listen to the news at night. You know it's true. That you cannot find happiness in life until you have entered into this higher level of consciousness. You've accessed your core nature, the Christ nature within you, or the Buddha nature within you. Accessing that opens the intuition. It's not like it happens only sporadically. So you meditate to get some insight into how to handle a particular decision or problem you're facing in life. That's not the only idea being expressed by the masters. You access that consciousness, and slowly but surely, it overrides the thinking of the world that was, stuck in us by the world, made us to believe this is the way of life. But it overrides that so that you have a natural sense of intuition. You don't have to sit down in meditation. You have a natural intuition once you start to access this higher level of consciousness. And you simply want to come from that higher level of consciousness. I'll show you the easiest way out after I show you this PowerPoint. This is also from the Gospel of Thomas. And by the way, the Gospel of Thomas is not accepted in the Standard Bible of today. It was washed out during the Council of Constantinople when they had 240 priests show up in Rome to look at the different writings that had come up out of since the life of Jesus about Jesus and the Christ. And they had to decide which ones were authentic, or what they called canonical. It's worthy of the fact that this particular teaching did come from Jesus, and these particular teachings did not. So that's how you wound up getting the Bible that you have today, your Standard Bible. So they threw out the Gospel of Thomas because it's absolutely, positively too insightful for the church. So therefore we have the church of the crowd, which is, it's run by the priests who pose as middlemen between people and God. And multitudes prefer it because it's safe. It's not solitary. You don't have to go alone and have the courage to enter into this higher state of consciousness, which will open the light of your awareness to your own foibles, your own limited concepts that hold you in bondage and hold you in conflict. It's a fearful deal. There are people that will not stay for a meditation. I've seen this through my ministry. You can teach on Sunday and do this whole thing, but at the end you say we're going to do a 5-10-minute meditation. People get up and leave. Today, people still get up and leave in unity, but they leave so they don't have to face the offering bag that comes in front of them. But here we have the Gospel of Thomas saying 17. And this is not just Jesus, as you know. This is the consciousness of God, which is who you are, speaking. I shall give you what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no hand has touched, and what has never arisen in a human mind. Never arisen in the human intellect. And this is propagated throughout. You read the New Testament and you get into the metaphysics, you begin to see that the ministry of Jesus got him crucified. Why? Why was Jesus crucified? And by the way, Christ wasn't crucified just 2,000 years ago as Jesus. Christ is crucified every day in the lives of those who entertain loveless thoughts and loveless acts. But why was Jesus crucified? Because he was espousing a truth of going to God directly. And of course, that didn't sit well with the hierarchy of the Pharisees who ran the religious show at that time. Today, it's run by the Catholic priests and the Baptists and whoever else. They ought to sell their churches and donate their money over here to unity. Because here is where the truth is being revealed. So it's saying, I shall give you what no eye has ever seen, because you can't get it outside in the world. And no ear has ever heard, because you can't hear it in any of the thinking of the world. What no hand has touched, because you can't own it, touch it in the world outside. You can't have it that way. And what has never risen in a human mind, you will receive. Listen, only one word. If you leave here and you forget everything that was said here, just take one word. One word. The destiny of your creation is insight. 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 Wisdom accessed from within. Insight. So, as we look upon our lives, the world that Jesus said we had to overcome is not a world we have to we don't withdraw from the world. Jesus revealed to us the world we have to transcend is the limited thinking the world embraces and the limited thinking that creates all of the unnecessary suffering in life. So we transcend the consciousness of the thinking of the world that said to us, you are a separate body, mind, in a world of separate others. Be careful, be careful, be careful. So we only feel safe when we're with other people in crowds. And that is why the highest and most attended religion in the Western culture is football. So, you see, by speaking the truth, I jeopardize attendance here at Unity. Because there's probably many people who watch Yellowstone and think, oh, it's the greatest thing they've ever seen. And they haven't yet caught on to the fact that they're propagating the illusion of might is right. If you can grab it, grab it. You have the might to do it, do it. If you're meaner than evil, go and kill if you have to. Because that's how you sustain and get what you want from the world and keep anybody from taking it from you. So now, everybody who's watching online right now, who are fans of, probably wearing t-shirts of Yellowstone, saying, I don't know if I can listen to this guy anymore. That's right. And if I didn't get them that way, I get all those people that sit by and watch football from one end of the day to the other when it's in season. But I'm only beholden. They hired me in Unity to live the truth that I speak. Because it's useless to share a truth you're not really living. And so I say to all of you, have the courage to enter into that secret place of the Most High on a daily basis. And it will guide you and lead you to a life truly worth living. An insight into living where you don't leave the world, but you live in a consciousness higher than the thinking of the world. And I said I was going to show you the way to do this. This is, if you never got anything else, this is the one you want to get. In this higher state of consciousness, it's natural for one living in that state to look upon everything and everyone as being part of God. True, not yet realizing their divinity, but still the core nature of everything you look upon is God. And our calling as karma yogis is to look past the limited thinking that others are displaying. This is the hard part. It's not just about feeling that joy that makes you feel good when you're into that state of God consciousness. But you must carry that mindfulness with you into every situation where you simply, forgiveness and not your self-interest precedes you in every situation. blessing and bestowing peace precede you in every situation. Looking beyond the foibles and the limited nature being expressed by others, by knowing this also is a son or daughter of God, and by so doing, you add the light of your own consciousness to their awareness. And they may not take up on it right away, but they will someday realize that living in and from the thinking of the world is torture. So now we're going to meditate. I thought my... No, it's all right. It's okay, because I think I hear her footsteps. Yeah, I do. I've got good hearing, too. It comes from being in that high place. Well, we're going to do some meditation together. Listen to this crystal bowl. And you should know, even when you sit down to be quiet and meditate, don't be overly concerned about your thoughts breaking in on you. You just give yourself a mantra, or you do what you need to do to just focus the mind gently on some presence of truth. And the core nature will rise on its own. So even while you think, well, nothing's really happening, let me say, every time you sit to be still and practice meditation, that core nature is growing within you, and someday it will become such a joy that you will never ever think of not doing your daily meditation. So let's listen to this crystal ball. Take a couple of deep breaths. As you release your breath, release any particular cares or concerns you may have brought with you. Gently allow yourself to be okay. The one thing the thinking of the world does over and over and over throughout the day, it attempts through the ego to make us feel afraid and not okay. So now just be okay. There is no separate, distant God judging anyone. There's no hell except the hell we create in the illusion of ego for ourselves. Just take to your heart and mind this mantra. Everything I look upon, everything I see, is only God waiting for me. Everything I look upon, everything I see, is only God waiting for me. Everything I look upon, everything I see, is only God waiting for me to wake up. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us go forth with a greater practice of mindfulness. For this opportunity, in every moment, we give thanks. And to this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And while we're preparing to do that, I know we have an advertisement coming up here. Tithes and offerings. I'm going to show you how to do that if you're watching online. Yeah, especially recurring donations will be very helpful for us. The church physically needs a lot of work done as far as the air conditioners and the roofing and all the stuff that has to do with the plumbing. So, and if you're watching online and you're not taking the time to get dressed, get in your car and drive here, then also give us the money you're saving on gas. Okay. As we bring here this gift into our hands, let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control. Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control. Go not in the house of senses, go not in the house of senses. Learn thou self-control. Learn thou self-control. Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control. Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control. Go not in the house of senses, go not in the house of senses. Learn thou self-control. Learn thou self-control.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth. The Spirit of truth. The Spirit that joins all of us. And we donate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen. Okay, we have some things here. Okay, we have a spiritual discussion taking place after the service in Fellowship Hall. And you're welcome to join in, and we'll discuss whatever you want to discuss. We also have Vote for Unity of Boulder. That is, go to the Daily Camera and /vote for Boulder County Gold and vote for unity. If you're still getting the Daily Camera, and if you're not, steal one and vote anyway.
It's on their website.
It's on the website, okay, good. I don't want you stealing anymore. Stop that. Okay. Those of you who like to stay, I'll see you in Fellowship Hall. To everyone, have a beautiful day. Where's their church luncheon? Is it?
Yes.
Today, yes.
Yeah.
Is that at the Mex?
At the restaurant.
Is it the same one?
Yes.
Yeah, Mariposa. It's on 28th, in the corner of 28th, and what is that? Valmont. So it's a little shopping center right there. So join us after the second service for some Mexican lunch.